Hello, hello, most beloved stars. Hello, hello. I am Courtney, host of Stars of the Morning Light, and this is going to be the 2026 yearly Akashic message. I just received this message at 9 a.m. this morning, so we're all kind of receiving it together. I did type it out, and then after that, I moved on. So, whatever we discuss is going to be new for all of us. So, welcome in. Um, I am live streaming. So, if I do say hello to those in the chat, it's because we're all a community here. And come on in, enjoy yourself. Good day, good evening, whenever you're catching this. I do want to say, as those kind of funnel in, um, I hope everybody had a good holiday. However, you celebrate your holidays, whenever your holidays began and ended, what have you, I hope it was great for everyone. And I do wish and hope for all of us that the spirit of Saint Nick, of Santa, the spirit of the season follows everyone and shows up for everyone in 2026. The spirit that shows up to check in that there's enough coal to stay warm, that shows up to check in if there's enough blankets to stay warm, that there's enough food to get by. I very, very, very much wish and hope that for everyone. We tend to call that giving, when I just call that humanity. 3D is the world of take, but I know humanity is the world of compassion and generosity and checking in with one another. So I do hope that that spirit shows up for everyone in whatever way, shape, and form that it needs to. So, beloveds, that's my little hope and prayer for everyone this 2026 year. Oh, hello, a happy hippie. Oh, many blessings to you, my dear. Rejoice, rejoice. Yes. All right. So, like I said, I did not receive this until this morning. Um, it's a lovely message. It actually I kind of wasn't expecting it to be so that sounds horrible. I wasn't expecting it to be so lovely. Knowing that 2026, by the time like February 2nd, 3rd, 4th, right? Like that first week of February hits, it's gonna be kind of like game on again. I mean, we're gonna be moving fast again, folks. So I assumed, this is why we should not assume, that the Akashic was gonna be talking more about that aspect or more about what's going on with the flip of the poles or what have you. Um, the more of what we see, right, in 2026, but they took a whole different route. So good, because I think this is more of the understanding and tools that we do need moving forward in a very interesting time frame to be alive, a very interesting world that we're in. So I kudos to them. I literally did not expect it in whatsoever. The one thing before I read it, because I'm going to read all of it, and then we'll go back and we'll start breaking it down piece by piece. The one thing, and then I'll read it again in its entirety. The one thing I do want to point out is towards kind of the end, you may hear the word accord. Accord. How they want me to write it out was capital A hyphen cord, like an electrical cord. So, welcome into 2026. This is the yearly Akashic Collective Message. Beloved beings of Earth, we delight in your arrival into 2026. The course you have chosen can be completed, but but you can also choose another. 2026 is open to experiences of all forms of communication with self and the divine. You can, if you so choose, to enter into a completely new experience. All potentials are ready to be established in 2026. Yet, the momentum of people's choices will be swift, that they may not notice their instant manifestations are present, resulting in pushing timelines further back. Stay focused on your delight. For what brings you joy is the energetic threads for grander purpose in the future. Today, on any given day in 2026, you have a choice to receive or deny your creation. Fear is what blocks your true sight. Fear of physical safety, emotional harm, and collective downfall is the remnants of fears past due. All is new, all is possible. There is no such thing as history repeats itself, for you are itself. 2026 will mark the new beginnings that we experience fully in completion in 2028. In romance with oneself, the hive minds, as you call it, either create forced dark magic or liberation from what has been known. Romance is to love oneself completely in higher dignity, as to not as as not low vibration hyphen self, but rather the highest form of human love. To have such love for oneself in 2026 can create new pathways that are becoming more solidified with each passing day. But to have romance for oneself in fear blocks the circuits that bind each human with another. You are of one accord, a hyphen cord. You are of one accord, but self fear corrodes the connections and breaks the flow. Stay clear of your fears and miss hyphen redirections of focus because the infinite is also connected to your one accord. Be wise, be a fresh breath, be of a accord by choosing oneself in healthy, sustain, healthy, substantial, higher love. For when you love yourself completely, without social norms, you create newness for self and others to begin the process of experiencing the true love of connection. That was their message. That is their message. Good day, Morgan. That is their message, and we're going to break it down. Um, Before we break it down, beloveds, I do want to say when I was in communication with them, I was kind of talking to them about me first, right? It's been a while since I asked them about myself. And then when they said, "Are you ready for the reading?" I said, "Yeah." And they wanted to show me something first. And beloveds, I've never seen this to this extent. Um, the Akashic records to me, how I would describe it, and everybody calls it the great database of all things. I don't refer to it as that. I truly see it as the 0 point of all potentialities, of all of creation. And even when I'm giving a personal reading or I'm looking at the collective, I'm seeing all the threads of all these, uh, as many threads as you can possibly imagine. And basically, I'm just pulling out or requesting for your individual frequency, your what people call timelines, right? Well, what they wanted to show me was so many of what we consider timelines, these storylines, these frequency threads. I had never seen it to this extent that ones that would be barely even present, just a faint hint of potential. They're all developing. They're all becoming more solid, as they would say, or I would say, as in magnitude of potential that we could just grab hold, pull it into your existence. This is what I want for myself and others. I had never seen it to the magnitude of when they say pretty much all potentials are becoming ready and they are there for us to acknowledge and experience. I'm truly trying to draw an image as to the magnitude of that we can vastly shift things for ourselves and others in a way that I have never witnessed. I have never seen this. So you might hear other people talk about that. I'm trying to give like a representation of, imagine all these threads kind of coming off of this one center of creation. And now what usually is very present and um, known and seen and, more solid. So it's in representation. Now it's threads, like I said, that would be barely even noticeable, just little are becoming that. So, beloveds, when they are talking about you can, if you believe and feel that you are on the path that you want, build, create, make that solid, do it, live it, right? But then when they also say, if you feel like you want to choose something different, a whole new life, a whole new timeline, as people say, do it. And I'm telling you, it's so available to do that right now because you can just, boom, there it is, pull it in, it's there, claim it, as they say. Um, uh, that was a miracle. That was uh, just very. I'm so grateful and honored to be living in this space at this time with all of you. It's astounding. It's just awe, speechless. So, oh, good day, Seeker. Good day. Uh, Seeker 0131. I'm going to actually try to call you at some point this weekend or today. So I'm glad that you're here. And Seeker of Truth. Oh my goodness, look at all the seekers popping in. Good day. And Susie. Good day. Oh, good day, everybody. All right. So I'm going to break it down again and we're going to take it part by part, piece by piece, together. Um, what a beautiful reading. Absolutely. Beloved beings of Earth, we delight in your arrival into 2026. The course you have chosen can be completed, but you can also choose another. And that's why they showed me that on the onset. Like if you're not if There might be elements of your life now that it's like, "Yeah, this is pretty good." But then there might be an entirely different scope that you would love. Bring it in. It is there. That is what I'm trying to say. It is there. You just gotta choose. 2026 is open to experiences of all forms of communication with self and the divine. That's lovely, and I hope it's self-explanatory, but let's say you're one of those people that you might pray, you might meditate, you might do all these things to try to connect, but yet you still don't have a sense of connection. You might not hear, you might not see, you might not, you're working on this sense of connection. Trust that you are connecting, but the fact that it says all forms of communication with self and the divine are completely open for these experiences to happen. That's telling me that to walk in the, let's say, the guidance of the divine, to walk in the knowing of the divine, to walk in, more of the presentation that the divine shows us, opposed to maybe what the world shows us, right? Those are all available. So practice. Practice. You can hold that space with the divine while also in the grocery store, while also at work, what have you. I think that's amazing, and I do wanna emphasize that that is also something new. We are entering into a whole new era of experiences for our greater good as individuals in the collective, to be closer to the divine, ourselves, and one another. And the energies are available to support that. And it starts really in 2026. I've been talking about it for a few years, but it really, really, but it's here now. It's going to be, and by, like I said, the first week of February or so, beloveds, in doubt, talk to the divine, connect. In fear, talk to the divine, connect. Eyes on the divine at all times, and they'll help you see this world very differently. You can, if you so choose, because it's a choice, to enter into a completely new experience. All potentials are ready to be established in 2026. Now, when they say established, that does not mean all the ins and outs, all everything's going to be directly, set and in place. Established is for, based on choice, is this is what I choose. This is what I focus on. This is what I'm doing. And I know I'm connected with the divine, and it will be, it is, as they talk about at the end. That is what that means. We're establishing our authority of choice in the form that we are creators, and all these potentials are available. Just pull it in, choose it, and don't let go. I think a lot of us, we choose and we dream and we keep trying to manifest, but so much of the world helps us to let go. Don't let go. Steadfast focus, commitment to oneself, commitment to the established new experiences. You can do it. Yet, like I just said, let me back up. All potentials are ready to be established in 2026. Yet, the momentum of people's choices will be swift, that they may not notice their instant manifestations are present, resulting in pushing timelines further back. So, the momentum of people's choices will be swift. So, we are still human. We still, think of stuff that actually might be potentially harmful to us. That might pop up with instantaneous manifestation, and stuff starts propelling so fast. It's going to be very fast in 2026 that we get more of that, which then creates more of the thoughts, which gets more of that, which then we fall away from what we want to establish. Or, beloveds, the momentum of people's choices will be so swift that they may not notice their instant manifestations are present, resulting in pushing timelines further back. Meaning, we're just moving through life so darn fast that even the stuff that we wanted to establish, it could be present, but because it's not jumping out at us, because it's not in the way we predicted or the expectations we thought it would look like, we might not notice. And then we don't pick it up. We don't bring it with us. We don't use it for the establishment of our new potential because we're just moving so fast that, and because it doesn't look like we think it would look like, there we go. We just let it be there. And the more that happens, that accumulation will push the energy, because it'll build up. The more that happens, because we are moving too fast to notice and to even acknowledge, oh, that's mine. Let me pick that up. That's a part of my new establishment. Awesome. Because we might do that. We might not notice. That energy will build up and build up. And in that new potentiality, well, it will start to get heavy, which will push it back from being close to you. That's what they mean by that. So, resulting in pushing timelines further back from obtaining that completion, further back from you noticing, further back from you experiencing. And back meaning it's going to take more time now. It's going to take a whole lot more effort on your part eventually to start noticing, to start working with the energies and not against the energies. Stay focused on your delight. For what brings you joy is the energetic threads for greater purpose in the future. Stay focused on your delight. When you do things that bring you joy, and beloveds, I really want to point this out too. This does not mean like quit your job and do what you love all the time, that kind of that's not what this means. Not in any way, shape, or form, right? But this does mean focus more on what does bring you joy, as in spend more time with it. All of us have to work. All of us have to work. It is what it is, right? But we tend to be so focused on the work, uh, depending on what it is, depending on how much it might aggravate you or take your hours away or leave you exhausted. And it's because we're focusing so hard on that. Why? We know how to do our job. We know how to do our job. We don't have to focus so much. I mean, they literally use the word focus. Stay focused on your delight. So the majority of people I know, they can be present at their job, do their job perfectly fine, while also thinking about that evening how they're going to do something they love, or that weekend. I'm going to participate in my hobby for a good chunk of time, whatever that hobby may be. I'm going to focus on seeing my grandparents. I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to focus on what your delight is. We can do that while we're doing other stuff and then do it. And in reality, beloveds, the more we do that, the more we can kinda get by at our job perfectly fine. It doesn't aggravate us so much. It doesn't leave us so drained. We decide to start taking different schedules. We start to the whole world starts shifting when we pay attention and participate with what brings us joy, which then leads into other things, and other things, and other things, which I gotta guarantee you, beloveds, that's some of those little beautiful instant manifestations of a new timeline experience that if you're being running around or being pushed around from the outside world, circumstances, life, what have you, essentials, you might miss them. What would keep your eyes open to them is if you willingly commit to yourself to experience more of your delight than you did before. We don't have to make it so hard on ourselves. But we should treat ourselves to what brings us joy. For what brings you joy is the energetic threads for greater purpose in the future. And they are talking there about not just you, the collective. So when you live in your joy and I live in my joy, not only does it inspire others to do that, as we are living demonstrations of it, but that energy goes out and starts shifting things and moving things, and more people do it. And the more we're living in that joy, whatever that may be for your authentic self, it frees up a lot of the heaviness, the density of the world we currently live in. And I might be missing some of the chat and those in there. I hope you enjoy. Today, on any given day in 2026, so any given day, 5 Mondays from now, August 12th, whatever day in 2026, you have a choice to receive or deny your creation. Hmm. Hmm. Our eyes must be open. Today, on any given day in 2026, you have a choice to receive or deny your creation. Fear is what blocks your true sight. I just said keep your eyes open because that true sight, it's going to go so fast. And sometimes it's going to feel wild fast, exhausting fast. I'm spinning fast in 2026. Whew. Stop, breathe, open your eyes because what is before you is your creation. And in that moment, you can say, ooh, okay, I like this. I'm taking this in. I'm going to do more of this. This is great. Let's build upon this. But there's also going to be many a times, no, this is not for me. This is not of me. I reject that. And then there's going to be other times, beloveds, when they say deny, many of us still deny that what goes on outside of us has anything to do with us. You have a choice to receive or deny your creation. This is taking accountability, responsibility that what we see, open your eyes, is also from within. And that goes for not just your own little sphere, the collective. And so when they say deny, it's also in the form of like, so it's, I want to receive this, I want to reject this, but it's also in the form of, this has nothing to do with me. I'm going to deny that this stuff is even happening. This is not even happening. I'm living somewhere else, which I do want to say, loves, that the fifth dimension, where many people are, because of the communication with self and the divine, because of the um living in one's joy even more, because of all the stuff that's already been said, more people are going to experience what is quote unquote known as like more the fifth dimensional living experience energies, which is lovely, good, kudos. But at the same time, there is a bit of element in there of denial. This doesn't affect me. This is not of me. I'm going to live in my own little box of protection, right? Fear is what blocks your true sight. So please, it's just take note of what's being said here. Take note of it. And we'll probably come back to this mid 2026 to remind ourselves. Fear is what blocks your true sight. And this is, they start listing them. Fear of physical safety, emotional harm, and collective downfall is the remnants of fears past due. So, because we are still within some of the old energies, right? It's that 2026 could be the completion if we so choose, but completion kind of means that we're rolling into it, we're arriving at it, we're trying to establish something new. A lot of the old energies are still going to be somewhat presented, right? In our personal life, in the collective, right? People around us, our little bubble of tribe. Fear is what blocks your true sight. Fear of physical safety, emotional harm, and collective downfall is the remnants of fears past due. Meaning, the world, the collective, has been anticipating, talking about creating a whole lot of stuff. That's where that past due is talking about. As in, we still need that to like filter out. We still need that to fall away, to dissolve into itself, to change and morph as energy does. So it's the remnants of things that probably would have happened in 2023, 2024, 2025. The remnants of things that are past due. So not the entirety, not the actual events and circumstances, just the remnants. What I call karmic residue. That's what I call it. I call it karmic residue because I don't give it as much power as others do, but I do acknowledge that energy continues on until it fades away. So things need to fade away as we are choosing to focus on what brings us joy. All is new. All is possible. Right? It's just the remnants. All is new. All is possible. There is no such thing, and they wanted me to put this in quotations, there is no such thing as history repeats it hyphen self. There is no such thing as history repeats itself. I cannot tell you how much I have heard others say that term over the past like 4 years. I cannot express to you how often I hear that. And I don't say anything because I know that's not true. That we are creating in the moment, we are creating all the time, but unfortunately, because that phrase is said over and over and over again, people expect that. People expect it. So then, therefore, they see it. It is now what is presented. There is actually no such thing as that. Everything is new within every breath you take. There is no such thing as history repeats itself. For you are, and they want me to put this in quotations, capital it hyphen self. For you are, quote unquote, itself. So let me read that in its entirety. There is no such thing as history repeats itself. For you are itself. 2026 will mark the new beginnings that we experience fully in completion in 2028. Beloveds, that is the only time throughout this entire message that they use the word we, as in the entirety, as in the all, as in the oneness, as in there is no separation between us and anything else. We, meaning even them, saying that they're going to be experiencing all these new timelines that are growing and becoming solid, that even the Akashic, because we are the ones that are designing it. We are the ones that are saying, hey, 0 point of creation, I want to create something new. Let's go. And they are witnessing what we are doing. So because they are witnessing it, they are also experiencing, whoa, look at what's going on. It's amazing. 2026 will mark the new beginnings that we experience fully in completion in 2028. They're going to work on our behalf, man. Everybody is. Communicate with the divine. In romance of oneself, they use the word romance a few times, and each time they wanted me to capitalize it. Romance, the word romance, okay, originally just solely meant a higher vibrational love to the highest that most of us humans can experience. And so over time, that word became associated with who you are the most intimate with, physically, emotionally, spiritually, what have you. So in today's world, we wrap the word romance around whoever we're in partner with, right? Who we're in love with. So take that in. Who we're in love with. So they're saying be in that kind of love with yourself. It is the highest that I mean, we can have higher love, beloved humans. We can experience higher vibrational love than just romance, but they're using that in the context of trying to have us understand that that highest love, the love that you have for who you are in love with. So that could be the highest love you've ever experienced, right? That you are actually also the most intimate with, physically, mentally, emotionally. So that is different than like the love you have for your children. It is. The love that we have for our children is beautiful. The love we have for our family is beautiful and grand and lovely. But I'm talking that deep soul, I give you all of me. I give you all of me type of romantic love, right? I will be vulnerable. I will be strong as well. I will give you all of me, right? So that love, that love is what they're talking about. The most highest vibrational love we can experience by choice. That's the difference too, by choice, right? I mean, we love our children, we love our family, we love our friends, that sort of thing, but we love our children. It's not a choice. We just love our children. It's just it is. This is all talking about the choice. So when you hear the word romance too, it's the highest vibration a human considering love, the highest vibration that a human can experience via choice. So they're saying have that with yourself, please. In romance with oneself, the hive minds, as you call it, either create forced dark magic, which is also in quotations, or liberation from what has been known. I'm going to keep reading. Romance is to love oneself completely in higher dignity, as not low vibration hyphen self, but rather the highest form of human love. So let's go back. So, in romance with oneself, the hive minds, as you call it, either create forced dark magic or liberation from what has been known. Because to love oneself to that extent too, the passion, the obsession of oneself, that form, when the hive minds are feeling that they need protection, because remember it's physical protection, emotional harm, fear of the collective downfall. Now take if all these people that think they're thinking of themselves, and then you put in all those fears, that hive mind, as we call it, like I chuckled with that, by the way, as we call it, can either create forced dark magic. And they use those exact words in quotations, dark magic. Because when we tend to love ourselves to the point that and we're in that fear, we start creating and doing stuff that is it's dangerous. Dangerous. Knowingly, unknowingly, that sort of thing. This is why I think I did a video on this maybe a year or two ago. Uh, when you if you Googled like obsessive or even romance or I can't remember the word I was looking at. Um, what people who are unhealthy and are in fear feel like they're experiencing that vibration of love that is so high, but in reality, it's just the mirror of the low vibration that is nothing but selfishness. That's where horrible obsession can come into play. That's where um, a whole lot of just dark stuff. They focus on something else that they're going to correct, they're going to fix. They might even harm in the process. They're going to do this, they're going to kidnap, they're going to control what's going on. They're going to control that person, that place, that thing, that situation, that community in a reversal of what should be the highest love of them all. It's the mirror image of that. But they will feel and experience it as that deep love for oneself. So, and I hope that did make sense how I broke that down, um, because everything's a mirror of of one another. And we usually use that in terms as people, right? As people. But we do live in the world of polarity, which polarity is not the same as duality. But we do live in the world of polarity. It's a great source. Use it. It's a great resource, right? We do live in that. So when there's the beautiful highest form of love a human can experience, which is romance, there's also kind of the flip side to that, which is obsession, which is control, which is dark magic. To affect the life of someone else because you think it should be this way or you want it this way, right? To try to change everything that's going on instead of changing oneself. That is dark magic. In romance with oneself, the hive minds, as you call it, and they made that plural. It's not just one mind or hive mind, it's hive minds. So, beloveds, I did want to say that, in 2025, towards the end of it, I tried to tell people like by August of 2025, we were going to see the rise of more like cults because of all going on. We are seeing that. We are witnessing that. That's kind of what they're talking about here, right? In romance of oneself, the hive minds, plural, as you call it, either create forced dark magic or at the same flip of that, so the other side of that spectrum, you got the spectrum of they're creating dark magic because out of fear, or but they're gonna call it love. They're gonna think it's love. They're gonna present it as love. Or this is the other side of it, or liberation from what has been known. So then that we might have these other hive minds that if they live their joy, they know what real love is. They love themselves entirely healthy wise, not in take, fear, control, obsession, focus on what brings them joy, love themselves completely. Well, then each one of those individuals of that hive mind will experience liberation. And then can you imagine that? That hive mind, all of those individuals experiencing liberation from what has been known, freedom in its entirety, freedom, liberation. Well, then others will be able to witness that. So it's the two sides of a interesting spectrum of love, believe it or not, of love. And one might want to argue that the ones that end up doing dark magic, forced dark magic, that's not really love. Yeah, it is. To them, it is. To them, it is. To have such love for oneself in 2026 can create new pathways that are becoming more solidified with each passing day. But to have romance for oneself in fear blocks the circuits that bind each human with one another. So, what I just read is them explaining what they said. So, I'll read it again. To have such love for oneself in 2026. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, let me go back. I'm going right back up. I'm going to read this entire section because it's like they're telling us and then they're explaining it. In romance of oneself, the hive minds, as you call it, either create forced black or forced dark magic or liberation from what has been known. Romance is to love oneself completely in higher dignity as not low vibration self, but rather the highest form of human love. That's that spectrum that we were talking about. To have such love for oneself in 2026 can create new pathways that are becoming more solidified with each passing day. They are referring that to romance is to love oneself completely in higher dignity, right? The highest form of human love. Romance is to love oneself completely in higher dignity. And if you do that, the results to have such love for oneself in 2026 can create new pathways that are becoming more solidified with each passing day. So that each time you say, I choose me, I love me, I trust me, I choose me, I choose me, I love me, I trust me, creates new pathways to that are becoming more solidified each passing day. That's those potentials that are becoming more solid. But to have romance for oneself in fear, so that's that dark magic other side of the love spectrum that we were talking about. To have but to have romance for oneself in fear, because and I gotta pause for a minute. We tend to think that we're fearing stuff for other people. We tend to think that we're focused on what's happening with the collective. But when we are ever in fear, it has to do with us. It's all about us. I'm sorry if that might have hurt. We like to project and say that we're thinking about all these other people, but fear is only about us. It's only self-focused. Ever. That might have been harsh and maybe new for some people to hear, but that is the truth about fear. We mull it all up within us. We confuse the heck out of it. We might even think, I don't fear about my safety, but I fear about everybody else's safety. That is not how fear works. Fear is only attached to the self. We project it out though. And now everybody projects it out. Everyone projects it out. Imagine if you didn't have fear of oneself because you're loving yourself with dignity, choosing yourself every day, choosing, I trust myself, I love myself. Kind of like when we don't trust others, it's truly because we don't trust ourselves. So, as I read again, but to have romance for oneself in fear blocks the circuits that bind each human with one another. Us versus them, me versus you. We, right? All these different things instead of seeing the totality, the oneness. And it's because the fear has a focus on self, which is another form of the obsession that is a part of that spectrum of love. Which blocks the circuits that bind each human with one another. You are of one hyphen cord. But self-fear corrodes the connections and breaks the flow. And this is why many, many lovely humans do not think and feel and live the experience of there is no separation. Because they still are thinking of themselves in relation to someone else, opposed to thinking that they are someone else, that they are that. It is itself. That's what it is right there. I mean, I can't. You are of one. So one singular, right? That's what that word means. One singular. A hyphen cord. The entire human race. One cord. Hmm. No. From that one flow of mega energy of the A chord. Like, be in accordance with one another. A chord. Now, off that one chord, do we all have tons of different streams of energy pouring out? All of our little timelines, all the greatness? Yeah, but it's one chord for the human race. It's one chord. There is no separation. The energy that's flowing through me and my timeline, my frequency, is the same as yours. Yours is the same as me. But to have romance for oneself in fear blocks the circuits that bind each human with one another. You are of one accord, but self fear corrodes the connections and breaks the flow. So self fear messes up the whole circuit board. Stay clear of your fears and redirections of focus, because the infinite is also connected to your one accord. Hear me out. I'm going to read that. Stay clear of your fears and redirections of focus, because the infinite is also connected to your one accord. So, beloveds, when all forms of any infinite potentialities are open and they're starting to form even more so and become more solidified, that does not mean everything's roses and daisies and all these infinite potentialities are like the best things that have ever happened. No. There's a whole lot of people that are out there in self-fear. They too are creating uh frequencies and vibrations of that are connected to all the infinite potentialities, because the infinite is also connected to your one accord. One chord. Like, please start thinking like accordance with one another, right? We tend to say that a lot. I'm in accord with you. I'm in accordance with with others. One that they're trying to establish, the word one that we like to use, oneness, is the same as a hyphen chord, accord. And they are trying to say, stay clear of your fears, meaning they might pop up. They might. Because clear here, by the way, is kind of spelled like, like if I was going to say like clairvoyance, clear, notice them when they pop up and do something about that. We don't let it sit and fester and be focused on the self fears constantly. Stay clear of your fears. Like, notice them, do something about them, drop them, let them go. I choose myself. I trust myself. I love myself. Ain't nothing to fear. And miss hyphen redirections. That's going to be the tricky one in 2026. I mean, this is all going to be a bit tricky, but because it's going to be very fast. The miss redirections of focus. So I should probably put that. They didn't say to put that in quotations, but I probably should to kind of put it together. So stay clear of your fears and miss redirections of focus. Meaning, the world is going to try to redirect you all over the place into their fears, by the way. They're going to fear over here, fear over there, fear over here, fear, pay attention, fear, fear, fear. It's all mishaps. It's all a miss, right? Redirections. Miss, right? It's all redirections. So they're saying, and but what's interesting, misredirections of focus, meaning it's going to be so ever present that it's going to be hard not to focus on that because everybody's going to be focusing on stuff as they are creating that potential of it because all infinite potentials are open. So not just all the good stuff that's there, all stuff that we don't even know is there. That's like, wow, that's amazing. Including all the stuff that we don't want. Stay clear of your fears and miss redirections of focus because the infinite is also connected to your one accord. Be wise. Be a fresh breath. Every time that we breathe, every breath, y'all have breathed a lot since I've been talking. You have breathed a lot. Every breath is a new choice. Every breath is an opportunity to be wise, to have discernment as to what you are focusing on. Are they redirecting my focus and all this mishapping mistakes and movement? Am I in fear? Every breath is an opportunity to not just practice compassion for self and others, but to notice what you're noticing, to make a different decision, to be wise. I mean, those were their words. Be wise, be of fresh breath. Because doesn't it too, when you experience that, like you take a nice, beautiful, deep breath and you notice what you're noticing and you actually make a beautiful, discerned, wise decision in that breath. Doesn't that feel wonderful opposed to taking a breath in fear where it clenches you back, your chest in, you start closing off that heart to bring it more so inside because I love myself. This is why I'm so afraid. It cuts off the breath, right? That fear cuts off all the circuits to one another, corrodes them, stops the flow of any heart space. Because, oh man, I gotta protect this heart. I gotta protect this heart. I gotta protect it. I'm so much in fear because I love myself that much. And it's about me because it's fear. I gotta close myself off. That's a breath in fear. That feels horrible compared to a breath of wisdom, of making a choice out of discernment for the very romantic love of dignity you have for yourself. That's a very different experience. Be of accord by choosing oneself in healthy, substantial, higher love. This is the ending of this message. Be of accord by choosing oneself in healthy, substantial, higher love. For when you love yourself completely, without social norms, you create newness for self and others to begin the process of experiencing the true love of connection. Please ask yourself right now, and if you're watching this later, you can pause the video. Please ask yourself, even hand to heart, have you ever felt that true love of connection with another? However you respond to that, I say is maybe go back and listen to this message. That true love connection, oftentimes we believe we have felt it when fears are extremely still present. So ask yourself now, have I experienced true, authentic, heightened vibrational love with another without fear present? Ask yourself, have you experienced that without any form of fear? Have you experienced the highest type form of vibrational love that a human can experience with another? Have you experienced that? Based on choice. Based on choice. If you say no, that's okay. You're in the same boat as everybody else. We're all connected, right? Of one accord. 2026, be of accord by choosing oneself in healthy, substantial, higher love. For when you love yourself completely, without social norms, you create newness for self and others to begin the process of experiencing the true love of connection. So, if we have not experienced that, it's because we haven't loved ourselves completely. Romance is to love oneself completely in higher dignity. I choose myself. I love myself. I trust myself. I trust myself. I think it's beautiful. Be wise. Be a fresh breath. Be accord by choosing oneself in healthy, substantial, higher love. For when you love yourself completely, without social norms, and beloveds, when they say social norms, it means everything. What you're supposed to do in partnerships, what you're supposed to do here, obligations, yada, yada, how you're supposed to apparently think and feel about what's happening in the world, right? I should feel and think this way because that's what my peers think and feel. I should appear to feel and think this way because of whatnot. Any kind of social norms. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to read it again. Um, I, I don't even know if my beloved teacher has put this out, but I'm going to put this out because it does come from her. I am Kira. She was teaching in class the other day that 2026, All dogmas are being rewritten. All dogmas are being rewritten. And on the onset of hearing that, a person's mind could first go, "Oh, right on, screw dogmas." That's not what she said. All dogmas are being rewritten in 2026, meaning all social norms, expectations, obligations, rules, mandates, laws, all of them will be they're going to be starting to be rewritten, right? As we love saying that as if they're set in stone, all of them are going to be rewritten. I choose myself. I love myself. I trust myself. I have dignity. I have dignity. So I'll read it one more time. And thank you all for staying with it. Thank you all for coming. I think I saw Jacob come in too. Elvis is, or I can't read that from here. My eyes are. So thank you everyone for coming. And if you missed any of it, please go back and listen. I'll just read it in its entirety. And we will be together in 2026. So, and together we're better, regardless of what happens with dogmas. Akashic Collective Reading 2026. Beloved beings of Earth, we delight in your arrival into 2026. The course you have chosen can be completed, but you can also choose another. 2026 is open to experiences of all forms of communication with self and the divine. You can, if you so choose, to enter into a completely new experience. All potentials are ready to be established in 2026. Yet, the momentum of people's choices will be swift, that they may not notice their instant manifestations are present, resulting in pushing timelines further back. Stay focused on your delight, for what brings you joy is the energetic threads for greater purpose in the future. Today, on any given day in 2026, you have a choice to receive or deny your creation. Fear is what blocks your true sight. Fear of physical safety, emotional harm, or collective downfall is the remnants of fears past due. All is new, all is possible. There is no such thing as history repeats itself, for you are itself. 2026 will mark the new beginnings that we experience fully in completion in 2028. In romance of oneself, the hive minds, as you call it, either create forced dark magic or liberation from what has been known. Romance is to love oneself completely in higher dignity, as not low vibrational self, but rather the highest form of human love. To have such love for oneself in 2026 can create new pathways that are becoming more solidified with each passing day. But to have romance for oneself in fear blocks the circuits that bind each human with one another. For you are of one accord. But self-fear corrodes the connections and breaks the flow. Stay clear of your fears and misredirections of focus, because the infinite is also connected to your one accord. Be wise. Be a fresh breath. Be of accord by choosing oneself in healthy, substantial, higher love. For when you love yourself completely, without social norms, you create newness for self and others to begin the process of experiencing the true love of connection. Well, beloveds, I'm honored. I am honored to be here with you on YouTube, on this great earth. I am honored to be with you. I see you all shining. I choose myself. I love myself. I trust myself. Dignity. I am as you are. You are as I am. I love you all so much. 2026, we're going to do it together. We can do it. I love y'all. Have a great weekend. Cheers.